Did you miss me? We're back with another episode, guys. And honestly, this is episode 9, and I've been saying this since like episode 5. Y'all, this is the last season of the Book Lovers podcast. And genuinely, I'm actually really sad that it's coming to an end. And you guys know season 4 mainly focused on being an author and like writing and stuff. So I was like really, really excited when um I saw that this season specifically was like not blowing up, but like it's starting to gain attraction, and I definitely saw like people were definitely looking at this season the most out of all the seasons, which I'm glad, because this is the season that I made in hopes to help someone grow in their writing journey and to help someone like learn this and learn that, because all of that is crucial to the writing process. Well, it's not crucial, but like I said, this season is mainly my suggestions, mainly my tips, mainly my advice for people who want to write, for authors, stuff like that. So I was overjoyed when I saw that people were, looking at it and viewing it and, all that good stuff. Because I was just like, yeah, that's crazy. Sorry, guys, I had to respond to some business stuff again. Why did I say again? I'm currently handling business stuff again. I don't know, and my TV is just, let me have my TV off, because, you know, yeah. Anyways, back to what I was saying. I made this season to help authors because I wrote my own book. It's called Ruined Royals. It's up for pre-order on Amazon right now, and you guys can get signed copies on my Etsy as well. I wrote The Ruined Royals. It's a YA fantasy. Well, it's YA fantasy. It's a trilogy, but as of right now, it's only one book. So, this is my debut novel, and there was so many things that I learned while writing, and I was just like, wow, I really want to share this with other people as well, because why do I suffer and then not tell anybody else how to fix it? And I'm currently writing a whole bunch of other books, and I'm using these tactics that I've told you guys about all season, and it has made my writing process so much smoother. So I was like, let me just tell you guys some stuff that could actually change your writing. Now, this episode is definitely going to be like combining stuff that I've said in the past episodes, but I also want to say that there are also going to be some new things here that I'm going to mention as well. So you guys can stick around, because I'm trying to give advice. I'm going to give advice. I'm going to give my tips. I'm going to give my tricks. I'm going to give you guys all that stuff, because, yeah, that's what I'm here for. I'm like, like this business related stuff. I'm sorry, guys. So, first things first is, oh, wait, actually, follow me on Instagram as well. It's in the description, in my bio. It's on my page. Just follow me on Instagram, because that's how you guys can keep up with me the most. And I would love to like stay in touch with you guys. I try to respond to comments as much as I can. I will say though, if you DM me and I don't know who you are, I'm probably not going to answer it, because my account is under a business account, so usually it'll like flag stuff, and sometimes it won't even alert me if somebody's like DM me, unless I have like DM that person first and I'm familiar with that person. So I will say, if you're trying to DM me, that's probably not your best bet, because I'm most likely not going to see it. But as for everything else, I am responding to comments, and if you tag me in a post or something like that, if it's like something to do with my book or something, I will definitely repost it. Like, I've gotten like tagged in like a few reels and posts and stuff like that. And I try to repost that stuff, because like I appreciate all the love that my book is getting right now. Like, literally everybody that's like putting love out there around it is literally the sweetest ever, and I appreciate it so much. So yeah. Anyways, back to the actual episode, because I've taken up like 5 minutes of your time. by like literally just yapping about myself and my book. But anyways, first things first, what I want to say is that when you're writing your rough draft, what I do is I use Google Docs, right? So I'm going to tell you guys what I do with Google Docs. I go ahead and put it in the format that I want my book to be in. So I put it in the paragraph spacing that I want. I put in the font that I want, the final, like the finalized stuff, like what I want to be finalized. Like, so the font, the spacing, the size of the book, like I will write in the size of the book. Because listen, when you go do your second draft, and if you're like me, you do a third draft before sending it off to your editor, it's going to be like, if you change it, let's say around the second or third draft, right? Or you change it after it's been edited and you put all that stuff in, your proportions are actually going to be so off. Like, you're going to think you wrote this many pages when you actually wrote this many pages. And you're going to think that this font's supposed to be, because if you have a certain font, it's either going to be too many pages or too little pages. And when I say too many or too little, I mean like it's not going to be accurate. Like you're either going to have way more than you thought you did, or you're going to have way like little, much smaller than you thought you did. Okay. And I used to like, hold on, I actually have the copy here. I had it in the wrong format the entire time and I didn't realize it. So I would definitely say I don't recommend the 9x6 size. I'm just gonna go ahead and say that off the bat. I don't recommend it because I'm gonna be honest with you guys, it barely fits on my bookshelf. It's huge compared to every other book up there. So it's like the odd man out. Um, it's it's like, do you really want to be walking around with this large textbook? It literally looks like a textbook. That's what it looks like. It looks like a textbook. I also did it where I had the wording in the middle of the page and on the side of the page, mainly because it was more visually appealing to me when I was writing it. Like when I was writing it, it was visually appealing, but then I actually looked at it when it got here, my proof copy got here, and I was like, oh no, honey, this needs to change. Okay. So now opening up my real copy, which is the actual size that I want it to be, it's now aligned on the side. The spacing is better. I'm just like, okay, yes, this is what I want. Now also when you're writing, I don't recommend any size above like any size above 12. I don't recommend because that's what this size was for like the original 9x6. You guys, this it's okay. Like if you want like a bigger font, I would say like yeah. But like if you want like the normal font that you see like your normal novels, then I don't recommend a 13. I recommend like 12 or smaller because while 12 still is like pretty like, oh, it's a large font, it's not large, large, large. You know what I'm saying? I also, when it comes to spacing, do not recommend the 1.5 spacing between like paragraphs and stuff like that, in between sentences and spacing and stuff like that. I don't recommend it because then it's like you only have like a paragraph or two on your page. Like, I'm gonna read you guys one page from this book. Oh, wait. Okay, I actually can't read that page because it spoils something. Um, Here, I'm gonna read you guys. I'm gonna read you guys this full page of chapter 12, right? Page 46. With light streaming through my windows, I awake. I climb out of bed, my body feeling drained and tired. As I trudge down the many flights of stairs, convinced I'd fall or and pass. Ooh, girl, can I please read? Convinced I'd fall and pass out, I headed straight for the kitchen, hoping to find something light to eat. Mira, what are you doing this early? She was making tea. That's all that fit on that one single page. That's all. And that's because I had the 1.5 spacing thing that Google Docs lets you do. I don't recommend it because you cannot fit that much onto a page by doing the 1.5, like the 1.5 spacing. So I definitely, like, when it comes to formatting, I recommend putting in the size that you want. With me, if you want to have like the same size as me, I recommend, I think it's the 5.5 time by 8.5 or it's 8.5 times 5 by 5. I don't know, but it's 5.5 and 8.5 something. I don't know if it's reversed, something like it, but something like that. Maybe the Google Doc is like one of the ones at the top, you know, one of the ones at the top. So I recommend that one. That's the size that I did. It's perfect. It's compact. It's like a normal book fitting inside of your hands. Okay, it's stuff like that. So that's what I recommend. So yeah, and also once again, put in the font that you want. Go ahead and put in how you want your chapters to be aligned. Like all that stuff, I recommend just doing the first draft. Like even if like stuff like because when I did my first draft, ooh, I had like this delay. Like one of the chapters got like put. like one of the chapters got skipped, right? So one of the chapters got skipped. And I knew this like when I was going through and everything like that, but I was like, I'm not gonna work on that till I get to the second or the third draft, something like that. So I definitely like would say like just format it. Like it doesn't like all the stuff doesn't need to be correct. Like the chapter pages and none of that stuff have to be correct. That's what you're going through for the second and if you're like me, third draft or four. You're going in so that way you can change the stuff that needs to be changed and perfect the stuff that needs to be perfected, all that stuff. And that's also what the second and third draft are for. So speaking of second and third drafts, I recommend doing second and third drafts. Like, I know you guys have heard like the first draft, the second draft, and then the final draft. I think a lot of people see that as like what the editor does, and then like you working with the editor. I feel like that's what a lot of people see it as. Guys, it's not that. It's really not that. Okay? Listen. So, well, it is for most people, but for me, I try to do four drafts total. So I do my first draft. I do my second draft, which is basically where I read through everything, change, write, change. And then my third draft is me reading through all that again to make sure that everything I personally want to change before letting the editor see it is changed. Then my fourth draft is what me and the editor work on because once again, I've said this in I think the last episode, the editor does not do all the work for you. The editor gives you suggestions, they give you tips, and they give you advice, and they might change up a word here or there, like because it's like grammatically incorrect or like they need to add like a period or something like that. They're gonna change all this stuff. They're gonna make sure that it's grammatically correct and all of this stuff. It's gonna make sure it flows well. When it comes to like things that are like, I think you should change this, they're not gonna change it for you. They're gonna let you decide, do we want to change this or do you want to keep this? Okay, so they're not gonna do all that work for you. So I also consider that the final draft because you're also working on it as well. So I consider the fourth draft what me and the editor work on. Okay, so I try to do three drafts total. And honestly, the reason I do three drafts because a lot of people, not on YouTube, but when I tell people my writing process, they're like, "Why do you do three drafts before letting the editor do it?" Because they're gonna find all the stuff for you. I mean, like, yeah, but think of it this way: if you were to get all the junks, the kinks, all that stuff like that out of your book before the editor gets to it, don't you think that the editor and you're going to have a much more faster time going through everything before your deadline? Like, don't you think you're going to meet your deadline a whole lot sooner if you can get the stuff that you're able to get out of the book before they can get to it? Because, like, it literally, when it comes to editing, like proofreading and everything like that by yourself, like the second draft, it does take a while because you have to, like, make sure it's careful. You cannot do that late night stuff when you're tired because we can do that when we're writing because we're trying to get the ideas out. But when it comes to editing, we have to make sure that we're like, okay, well, we cannot do this late night stuff because we're not going to be fully focused. But once again, that's what the third draft is for. But, you know, all that good stuff. So it does take a while because I try to avoid doing my second draft at night. Like not like at night, but like past midnight. Because after midnight, my brain is foggy. Okay, I'm just putting down anything to put down something. Okay, so I try to avoid doing anything past 12 a.m. But think about it this way. It takes all that time. You're taking all this time to get all this stuff out. Third draft comes, all you're doing is reading through and changing the little tiny bits. Then the editor comes in and I'm like, oh wow, this is great. This is great. This is great. This is wrong, but it's okay because we can fix this. This is great. This is great. This is great. This is great. Like they're like, there's not a lot of work to be done after you've done the second stuff. All that stuff, there's not a lot to be done, and you and your editor get through this stuff a lot quicker. The editor's able to read through the story a whole lot quicker and change stuff less frequently than if you were just to do like one or two drafts. So I do recommend the first, second, and third drafts. But once again, first and second drafts are good too. But if you're like me and you just want to, get your stuff quickly and efficiently while it's also looking good, I recommend doing the third draft. Because while it does take up a bit more time, the editor's time, the fourth draft is going to take less time. So you're using up time to save time. Like it's like that saying, you spend money to make money. You have to risk some things in order to receive the reward for your risk. No risk, no reward. I should be a motivational speaker. Yeah. No. Actually, no. I should not. Actually. I promise I would give like the worst advice ever. I really would. Anyways, back to what I was saying. So we've already gone over the formatting. We've already gone over the first, second, and third drafts. Did I have anything else that I want to tell you guys? I'm just thinking because I feel like I did because I was like, oh yeah, I want to talk about this. And then whenever ever I actually start filming the episode, I'm like, what did I want to talk about again? So let me actually think real quick before I like sign off. Okay, well this is actually a tip that I said in one of the previous episodes, like really early in the season, but it's still something that I feel is really relevant for this episode. Do not, I don't know which one, I don't know what episode it was. I think it was like between episodes 1 through 3. It was one of those. Go watch those. But I said not to compare your work to other authors. Like, compare, but don't contrast. Okay? Compare without the contrasting. So, what I mean by this is you may see one author. Let's take my favorite author, for example, Lauren Roberts. You may see one author and be like, oh wow, she's a New York Times bestselling author. Is she? I actually don't know. I just know she's like a bestseller. I don't know if it's New York Times, but she's a bestseller. She might be. I don't know. She might. I think she is. But she's a New York Times bestselling author, and she has all these followers, and she has all these readers, and all these good reviews, and all these 5-star reviews, and all the people who love her books. And I'm an indie author, and I have one book, and it's not that popular, and all that other stuff, and it's this, it's that. And you're speaking negatively about yourself and you're about your writing. Girl, do you think you're ever going to gain the confidence in your books if you're comparing yourself to Lauren Roberts all day long? No, you're not. You're not going to get that success if you're comparing yourself and contrasting what you have based off what she has. You're not going to make it as far if you're constantly looking at what your neighbor is doing and then using what your neighbor is doing as a negative effect on yourself. Now, let's say this is an example of what I like to do because mainly negativity with yourself is genuinely just a mindset. Like you might have heard this a lot recently, but embarrassment, stuff like that, it's all just a mindset. Listen, I was at a camp last week. Boot camp. I don't know if you consider it a boot camp. It was camp for business. And genuinely, there were so many times that I quote unquote embarrassed myself, but was I embarrassed? No. You do want to know why? Because it was genuinely a mindset. It's like, oh, well, who cares? I'm doing this for me. Or who cares? I messed up. I can fix that later. Or who cares? Because I'm not here to impress anyone besides God and myself. So who cares? Me and my friend, there was music playing, it was free time. Me and my friend started dancing to Gnarly in class. Which, mind you, we wouldn't do this if it was like class time, obviously, but it was free time. And we started dancing and Gnarly in class. And everybody was staring. Well, not everybody, but a few people were staring. Were we embarrassed? No, because we were having a good time and we were not worried about everybody else. So it's the same thing when it comes to negativity. If you're constantly comparing yourself to all these other girls, to all these other people, to all these other men, do you think that you yourself are going to have a good mindset? Or you think you're going to have a positive mindset, a positive outcome, like a positive life? There was a quote I saw literally today where it was like, if you speak negative things about yourself, you're not going to get a positive outcome. You're just going to get a negative outcome. And even when it is positive, you're going to keep thinking about the negative. Even when something is positive, you're thinking, oh, well, I might have achieved this time, but next time it's going to be this, that, and the third, because I'm not this, that, and the third. Do you really think that if you have a negative mindset, you're going to have a positive outcome? No. No. So here's my mindset. I look at Lauren Roberts' books and I'm like, wow, she's a best-selling New York Times author. And she started out just like me. Do y'all know the story behind Lauren Roberts? I'm gonna summarize it real quick. She literally never planned on writing a book. She went on TikTok Live, shared her story idea. It was basically just a whole bunch of stuff that she loved, and she put it into one book because everybody was requesting it. She started out whatever as an indie author. Yes, Lauren Roberts was an indie author at one point. She didn't just immediately get signed to Simon & Schuster Books. No, she was an indie author at one point. She got her indie author stuff. She went popular. She got popular because she just kept trying. She kept promoting her book, all that other stuff. And then she got picked up by Simon & Schuster. And then she was on the New York Times bestseller list. Do you guys think that all happened overnight? You guys just think that she submitted her book and Simon Treasure was like, oh my goodness, we're going to take this from you and we're going to publish it for you. No, she started off as an indie author. So think of it this way. If you write your book now, if you do your second and your third drafts now, if you your book edited, if you get your book formatted now, if you publish your book now, this year, next year, whatever, you're going to make it onto that #1 bestsellers list. That is my mindset. My mindset is Lauren Roberts started off as an indie author, and now she's one of the biggest, not the biggest, but one of the biggest young adult fantasy authors out there. Well, not fantasy, but young adult romantasy. Well, technically it is fantasy. Young adult romantasy authors out there. You say Lauren Roberts, and everybody's ears perks up, whether they love her or they hate her. Everybody's ears perks up because everybody knows her name in Book Talk. The Book Talk community knows her name. So that is the mindset that I have, and that's the same mindset that you should have. We don't speak negativity into life because our words. Oh my goodness, what Bible verse is that? Oh my days. There's a Bible verse that's like, your tongue is like the doer of life or something like that. No, I haven't read my Bible in a week. I didn't bring it with me to camp because I literally was like, I'm gonna pack it on the last day because I still gotta use it, and I literally forgot it here, and I haven't picked it up since. I really need to open up my Bible, as you guys can see, but like I was saying, there's the Bible literally says our tongues speak life. So why are we speaking negativity? You speak positivity, you receive positivity. You cannot, because guess what? The devil is waiting for you to speak that negativity so that way he can. Oh my goodness, I just lost my words. Ooh, what was I about to say? So that he can so that he can make the negativity happen. So that way he can make the negativity happen. Y'all, it's all in what we say, what we think, and it's all in our mindset, and it's all in our ways of life and ways of living. That's how you and God determine how this is gonna end up, how this is gonna turn out. So if you're constantly comparing yourself to Jenny Han or Sarah Adams or Suzanne Collins and saying, well, they have this and they have all this and they have all that and they have this, do you think you're ever going to see the positive outcome of the work that you have done? No, because you're constantly, no, I don't care if you're like, yes, yes, yes. No, because if you're constantly comparing yourself to somebody else and somebody else's book and somebody else's work, you're not going to ever equate to them. Because, first of all, everybody's writing style is different. Second of all, you're not them. You are you. And I say this because it's true. You are lovely the way you are. You are amazing. You are blessed. You are blessed. I love how this went from an entire episode about this book and then I just ended up literally blessing all of you. No apologies, but I just find that really funny. I just find that really funny. But yeah. So I really want to end off this episode with a good note. I'm glad that I remembered that because that is just something that I wanted to tell all of you because it is true. Your mindset conducts how such and such is going to work out. And just the mindset thing not only applies to writing your book, but it also applies to your entire life. Like I told you, embarrassment is a mindset. If you get embarrassed and you say, oh, that's so embarrassing, you're going to be embarrassed. If you're thinking, I'm not doing this for them, I'm doing this for God and myself, you're not going to be embarrassed. If you're thinking, oh, I'm dancing in front of all these people, it's going to be embarrassing. But if you're saying, I'm doing this for fun, it's not going to be embarrassing. I had to speak in front of 700 people on Friday because I won my business pitch competition. And I can speak in front of people. I have this YouTube channel. I speak in front of thousands upon thousands of people every time I upload. You know, I get thousands upon thousands of views on my YouTube shorts when I post them. But it's a difference between speaking in front of people and speaking to people online because it's just you and stuff. But I was really scared to go up on that stage and talk to them. I went on that stage and I was like, okay, don't worry about all these people. Look at the people who I can trust. I was looking at my friends who were making silly faces at me the whole time, trying to, they were making silly faces, and I was thinking, I'm telling the speech for myself, and I'm telling the speech for oh my goodness, I was telling the speech for myself, and I'm telling the speech for God. I'm not here to impress anybody else. My friends were like, those people were talking trash about you the entire time you were on stage. It's like, I don't care. I don't care because I did that for myself and I did that for God. I wasn't there to impress them. It really wasn't. So I definitely say that when it comes to not only your writing and your career as an author, but also life, embarrassment is a mindset, negativity is a mindset, and positivity is a mindset. And which out of all three of those mindsets that I just spoke, which do we want the most? Positivity. Speak positivity to life. Speak positivity to life. That is all for today's episode of the Chaotic Book Lovers podcast. And the final episode will be the next episode you guys see of this podcast. I'm like really sad that this series is coming to an end. I started the Book Lovers podcast. I just realized how much charger and I'm like sending my phone on my books. Ooh. You guys, I'm gonna give you guys a quick backstory real quick if you guys want to stay. But when I first started this channel, it was a gaming channel. It was a gaming channel for a very, very long time. And just last year it became my booktube channel, right? But when I first started the channel, I made the Chaotic Book Lovers podcast. It was called the Book Recommendations podcast, something like that. But I renamed it like in like season 2 or something because I genuinely did not want it to say Cat. I did not want to keep it as Book Recommendation Podcast. I changed it to Chaotic Book Lovers Podcast. Right. This podcast has been on the channel since I started the channel, since I was a gaming channel and everything like that. Which I still do game. I have a separate channel for that. It's called Pixel Princesses. But this podcast has been here since I started the channel. And that's crazy. Like, genuinely, that's really crazy. So, the final episode, we're gonna have to go all out. It might be a really long episode, it might be a really short episode. I don't know. I just know we're gonna have to go all out because, wow, this has been here for. Wait, hold on. Actually, let me see. How long wow. How long have I had my YouTube channel for? Let's go to YouTube real quick, guys. Let's take a trip down memory lane because I genuinely do want to know. Help? I actually don't know. Okay, I've had the channel for why is it 2 years? It generally doesn't feel like 2 years. When did I start the channel? I started the channel in 2022. It's been 3 years. Oh, I started in August and it's only July, so almost 3 years I've had the channel. And I used to have a podcast about money, surrounding money as well, because I do have to manage a lot of money because I'm a business owner. I'm a PR company owner, and I also work for other businesses that have to do with money. So I definitely had a time where I focused on money a lot, but yeah. Book Recommendations Podcast, episode 1 was. Oh, I remember the intro. It was September 21st, 2022. This podcast has been here for almost 3 years, guys, and I'm, as of right now, letting it go. I don't know if it's gonna make a return, but I don't know what I would talk about if we did a 5th season. But we're on season 4, right? Did you guys hear that? I had my window open, and I just heard like the biggest crash ever that actually scared me so bad. Not crashing as in cars. I'm just like, it sounded like something like tumbled over and fell. I need to stop talking, okay? I'm gonna let you guys go because I've been holding you guys captive for 8 minutes. Amazon keep talking about, so you have this unused Prime benefit. I use Spotify. I don't need Amazon Music. Although I should cancel my Spotify subscription. I just need Amazon Music. I'd be saving money, but I like my Spotify. Don't nobody use no Amazon Music. Oh, but I know use Amazon Music. I got shared playlists on Spotify. Anyways, reminder, I have my book that comes out July 31st. You can pre-order on Amazon. You can pre-order it on Etsy as well for signed copies. And if you want to pre-order the paperbacks, you can also pre-order that on Etsy because Kindle Direct Publishing doesn't let you pre-order the paperbacks for some reason. You can only pre-order the Kindle version, so you can pre-order the Kindle version on Amazon, but on release day you can actually order the paperbacks, but you can pre-order the paperbacks signed or unsigned on my Etsy right now because they are And to follow me on Instagram for both my PR account, Pink PR LLC, or my book account where I post about my books, which is Maddie's Bookshelf Author on Instagram. I literally don't have TikTok, I don't have Twitter, I don't have Facebook, none of that stuff, so I'm not up there. I'm on Instagram.